You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Monday, May 17th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, Roddenberry Entertainment is celebrating the run-up to Gene Roddenberry's 100th birthday with a new podcast full of Gene's best quotes. There's good news for Trek fans down under as Paramount Plus is set to launch in Australia and New Zealand on August 11th. And I've got details on how you can win a copy of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 1 on Blu-ray. I'm Alison, Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. As the 100th birthday of Gene Roddenberry approaches, Roddenberry Entertainment is launching a number of online initiatives to celebrate his enduring legacy, as StarTrek.com reports. The commemorations include a 100-day countdown of impactful quotes from Star Trek's creator, shared through videos featuring franchise veterans and other celebrities who are fans of the show. The countdown is part of a larger online campaign called #ThinkTrek, which Gene's son Rod hopes will encourage people everywhere to live out the values that Star Trek has reflected over its 55-year history. The quotes are a great tool for that kind of advocacy, Rod shared, adding words of enthusiasm for the people brought on board to read them. "My father was an ordinary man with an extraordinary vision for the world, one of unconditional love, diversity, and unity of all people. And that vision is shown through not only Star Trek, but through the words he spoke in his lectures, his interviews, and his writings. To have members of the Star Trek franchise and celebrity fans bring those words back to life is a very exciting way to celebrate a momentous year in his history." Since the videos began on May 12th, celebrities like Bill Nye and Kevin Smith have already been featured, alongside Star Trek Picard cast member Alison and Lower Decks voice actor Jerry O'Connell. Other celebrities announced include Jonathan Frakes, Michelle Yeoh, and George Takei. The daily videos shared on Roddenberry Entertainment's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages are accompanied by a daily podcast hosted by blogger Trent Venegas and actor Rachel True, in which Roddenberry's words, ethos, and impact are examined more in depth. The 100th anniversary of Gene Roddenberry's birth will be on August 19th of this year. To find out more about the new podcast quoting Gene Roddenberry, head to podcasts.roddenberry.com. Now, next up, there's some good news for Star Trek fans in Australia and New Zealand. Along with posting first quarter financial results earlier this month, Viacom CBS announced that Paramount Plus will launch in both countries beginning August 11th. News of the platform's continued global expansion was brought to us by The Hollywood Reporter. That means a big expansion and rebranding to 10 All Access, the Viacom CBS-owned streaming service currently available in New Zealand and Australia. The process will be similar to what Viacom CBS did when rebranding CBS All Access into Paramount Plus in March of this year. For $8.99 Australian per month, subscribers will enjoy access to more than 20,000 films and television episodes from across the Viacom CBS portfolio, in addition to the current content available on 10 All Access. That's a pretty low price point, beating out many streaming competitors. 10 All Access, however, is currently offered for $9.99 a month Australian. What remains unclear at this time is whether current subscribers to that service will see a decrease in the cost when the service is rebranded in August. According to Beverly McGarvey, the Chief Content Officer and Executive VP of Viacom CBS for both countries, things are looking up. "We are poised to become as powerful a player in streaming as we are in television," McGarvey said of the announcement. Paramount Plus subscribers everywhere will also be getting a boost in content this year. During the quarterly financial meeting, Viacom CBS CEO Bob Bakish announced that Paramount Plus would be adding 1,000 new films in June of 2021 in a Mountain of Movies campaign, which would also see the addition of at least one new film each week to the service. Once again, Paramount Plus is expected to launch in Australia and New Zealand on August 11th. Now, I've got more news in a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. If you've been thinking about seeing a mental health counselor, then now is the time to consider BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online counseling service that lets you get the help you need in a way that's convenient for you. When you sign up for BetterHelp, you'll get matched with a licensed professional therapist and start communicating with them in under 48 hours. Send messages anytime or book a phone or video chat, and you never have to sit in a waiting room. I want you to start living a happier life today. And as a daily Star Trek news listener, you can get 10% off your first month of counseling by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's betterhelp, HELP.com/DSTN. Now, finally, today there's really great news for fans of Star Trek Lower Decks. To celebrate this week's release of Lower Decks on Blu-ray and DVD, the folks at CBS Home Entertainment have given us 3 copies of Lower Decks Season 1 Blu-ray to give away, along with a couple sets of 8 character art cards featuring the main characters of the show. Now, to be in with a chance to win, all you have to do is follow us and retweet our post on Twitter, or sign up as a new subscriber to the Daily Star Trek newsletter. No purchase required, of course, but you do need to live in the United States, and entries close this Saturday, May 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. From the writer and executive producer of Rick and Morty, Mike McMahon, Star Trek Lower Decks is the hilarious animated Star Trek series you never knew you needed. Following the adventures of 4 Lower Deckers, Ensign Beckett Mariner, voiced by Tawny Newsome, Ensign Brad Boimler, voiced by Jack Quaid, Ensign Samantha Rutherford, voiced by Eugene Cordero, and Ensign Devana Tendi, voiced by Noelle Wells, the Blu-ray and DVD release packs the entire first season in with nearly 2 hours of exclusive special features, interviews, deleted scenes, Easter eggs, and more. For more information on our giveaway, including all the ways you can enter, head to dailystartreknews.com/Lower Decks. And be sure to check out Star Trek Lower Decks when it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, and limited edition Steelbook this Tuesday, May 18th. And be sure to check out my review of this season in Daily Star Trek Views on our YouTube channel. Rarely going where no one has gone before, get more on our giveaway of 3 copies of Star Trek Lower Decks on Blu-ray at dailystartreknews.com/Lower Decks. Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network, including the new Quoting Gene Roddenberry at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, and written by Chris Peterson and Jack Brown. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know and this week's Trek trivia. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.